What makes a great story great? It's a question as old as stories themselves, and one of its most enduring answers comes from Aristotle. Aristotle's Poetics is as relevant today as it was in ancient Greece. What can we learn from the Poetics?
You know what this is?
Why does it continue to be a guiding light for storytellers everywhere?
Well, let's find out.
This is What is Aristotle's Poetics? Before we get started, subscribe and click the bell for more filmmaking videos. Thanks to the following subscribers for requesting this video. Keep the suggestions coming in the comments. We will be spoiling the following movies. Let's begin.
I'm off to the glamorous world of movie making.
Aristotle was an ancient Greek philosopher born in 384 BC. He was a student of Plato and eventually became one of the most important figures in Western philosophy. Today, Aristotle's work continues to shape the fields of ethics, politics, and literature.
It appears in the literature time and time again.
Aristotle wrote the Poetics in around 335 BC. The work is the earliest surviving piece of literary theory, offering a systematic analysis of the basic principles of poetry, drama, and storytelling at large. The central thesis of the text is that epic poems and the stories within them are imitative. They are an art form which are representations of real-world objects. Aristotle argues that humans are naturally drawn to imitation, and that is why storytelling is so popular.
Sheriff, he's over here.
As such, Aristotle claims epic poetry should feel real, even if its stories are fiction.
You need 2 big breasts.
2 big breasts coming up. That's what I want, 2 big breasts. Big breasts and something with a brain.
The second portion of the Poetics on comedy has been lost, so the sections which exist primarily focus on tragic epic poems. But the lessons found in them can be applied to all forms of storytelling today.
What is this?
Almost any narrative film follows the rules of some, if not all, of the 6 principles laid out by Aristotle. Character, thought, diction, spectacle, song. And the first principle outlined by the philosopher, plot. Aristotle considered plot to be the most important element of a narrative medium. He writes that a good plot has a beginning, a middle, and an end.
Smile, you son of a...
And that the arc of a story can be split into rising and falling action, or what Aristotle labels complication and unraveling, or denouement. Aristotle defines 3 crucial beats for tragedies in particular: peripeteia, which is a sudden reversal of fortune; anagnorisis, which is when a character makes a critical discovery; and catharsis, which refers to the emotional relief in an audience. All 3 of these concepts often work together to create a satisfying tragic ending. In Midsummer, the peripeteia is when Dani is crowned the May Queen.
You are our May Queen.
Which is soon followed by the anagnorisis, as Dani discovers Christian's infidelity. Finally, there is a dark catharsis. Dani in the audience purges the negative feelings built up through the film.
Grandma?
The Poetics also emphasizes the importance of causality.
Your grandmother hasn't paid her taxes in over a decade.
Compelling stories, Aristotle argues, should have scenes with a clear cause and effect between each other.
I thought you were pro material. Prime to make the big bucks.
Each plot point builds on top of the other until the ultimate climax. He writes, if any one scene is displaced or removed, the whole will be disjointed and disturbed. For a thing whose presence or absence makes no visible difference is not an organic part of the whole. Aristotle calls stories which don't have causality episodic, where the acts don't have any logical sequence.
First time.
Martin Scorsese's Cape Fear has a plot which ascribes to all the qualities Aristotle outlines. Each scene is directly related to the last.
So do you believe that annoying loser guy? Dad, you should have just punched him out.
What? Just punched him out.
Max is terrorizing Sam and his family, and as the plot progresses, his actions grow more and more threatening, resulting in Sam taking more and more drastic actions to defend his family.
If you don't leave my family alone and if you don't get out of here, you're gonna be hurting like you never dreamed.
This game of one-upmanship means that each scene builds on the one before. Another defining quality of a good plot, according to Aristotle, is unity of action. In other words, the story should revolve around a single drive. Aristotle notes, unity of action isn't simply achieved by focusing on one main character.
But we need to work together to get the hell out of here, right? Yeah.
He writes, unity of plot does not consist in the unity of the hero, for infinitely various are the incidents in one man's life which cannot be reduced to unity. Real people have a variety of goals at one time, but to Aristotle, focusing on one of these goals is crucial to a good story. In Rushmore, Max has many goals, like making his name known among his wealthier classmates.
So you've changed your mind and you want the job?
No, but I've got an idea and I need some money.
But one goal overrides all others, his desire to be with Rosemary. It's this singular drive which propels the plot.
I mean, I thought you dumped me for Bloom, then I
never dumped you because we were never going out.
Films as different as Cape Fear and Rushmore illustrate that following Aristotle's rules for plot results in a streamlined and compelling narrative. The second most important element to a narrative, according to Aristotle, is character. Some of Aristotle's views on character are a bit dated, like stating that female characters shouldn't have valor or cleverness. But many of his other points have aged much better.
I need to know how Skynet gets built. Who's responsible?
The man most directly responsible is Miles Bennett Dyson.
Aristotle argues that a character must be good, but this doesn't mean the character is constantly in the right.
I want to know everything. What he looks like, where he lives, everything.
It means that their purpose must be good. We may not approve of a few of their actions, but we approve of their overall goal.
It's all your fault! Motherfucker, it's all your fault!
Dirty Harry, for example, isn't necessarily always in the right, repeatedly circumventing the law, and yet the audience is rooting for him because it understands his goal.
Drop the gun, freak!
To catch a serial killer. Aristotle also claims that a character should be consistent. The audience should be able to understand why a character is doing what they're doing from scene to scene.
What do you propose?
It's simple. We kill the Batman.
The philosopher notes that this doesn't mean a character has to be predictable.
You want to know how I got these scars? He comes at me with the knife.
A character can be unruly and erratic, but Aristotle writes, still, he must be consistently inconsistent.
Is it the scars? You want to know how I got them? I stick a razor in my mouth and do this to myself.
This consistency, Aristotle argues, should be present in characterization. He writes, a person of a given character should speak or act in a given way, by the rule either of necessity or of probability.
Alrighty then.
In other words, a character's dialogue and actions should feel natural to their personhood.
I won't bite. Hard.
Dr. Strangelove depends on distinct characterization. Since it follows an ensemble cast of characters, many of whom are played by the same actor. Each character has a unique personality which remains consistent throughout the film. Mandrake is a nervous and overly polite Brit.
I don't quite see what you're getting at, Jack.
President Muffley is meek and averse to conflict.
Is this gonna set off the doomsday machine?
Turgidson is a hot-headed general, hell-bent on war.
But today, war is too important to be left to politicians.
The Poetic's next narrative element is thought.
Yeah, but your scientists were so preoccupied with whether or not they didn't stop to think if they should.
Of course, devising a plot and compelling characters requires thought. But for Aristotle, thought also is a separate entity. By thought, he means that a story should make the audience think about the larger ideas at hand. According to the philosopher, thought is required wherever a statement is proved, or it may be a general truth enunciated.
It is literally impossible to be a woman.
Thought, therefore, can be seen as the elements of a narrative which impart a lesson onto an audience. Today we may refer to the thought element as themes. Larger ideas that a story is commenting on. Paul Verhoeven's Starship Troopers uses thought as defined by Aristotle to comment on the perils of the military-industrial complex.
What about you, son?
Infantry, sir.
Good for you. Mobile infantry made me the man I am today.
Verhoeven uses satire to critique nationalism and pointless violence. Without the presence of these themes, Starship Troopers would be a run-of-the-mill action film. Thought elevates a movie, giving it a larger purpose beyond pure entertainment.
I'm doing my part.
I'm doing my part.
I'm doing my part.
I'm doing my part, too.
They're doing their part. Are you? Join the mobile infantry and save the world. Service guarantees citizenship.
The next narrative element from the Poetics is diction.
The sacred Jedi texts.
Oh, read them, have you? Well, page-turners, they were not.
For Aristotle, diction is a crucial element in a story's effectiveness. Diction refers to word choice, grammatical decisions, and sentence structure.
Oh, you think darkness is your ally? You merely adopted the dark. I was born in it.
With diction, Aristotle emphasizes clarity.
I don't mean to sound critical, Dean Walker. I just want to be clear.
While he acknowledges the occasional utility of well-placed figurative language and complex verbiage. He argues that over-reliance on these elements can hurt a story, writing, "Character and thought are merely obscured by a diction that is over-brilliant."
This is a snakeskin jacket. And for me, it's a symbol of my individuality and my belief in personal freedom.
This approach to diction is fundamental to screenwriting.
Good sounds abound when the mouth is round. Round, round.
Action lines in a script should be as clear and to the point as possible. In the script for Deja Vu, writers Bill Marsili and Terry Rossio write with maximum economy. Their introduction for Doug is brief. Special Agent Doug Carlin, standing amid the chaos, mid-30s, a cold intelligence. Doug's eyes miss nothing. In just 2 sentences, a reader knows all we need to know about Doug. He's smart and perceptive, but his life also lacks passion. Aristotle notes that flowery diction can be useful in order to slow down pacing. He writes, the diction should be elaborated in the pauses of the action. This can help a story breathe, avoiding burning out an audience. This too is helpful in screenwriting. By using more detailed diction, a screenwriter can signal to a director that a moment is important and should take up more time. This technique is often employed in horror scripts, which need to slow down certain sequences to increase suspense. In The Ring, writer Aaron Kruger uses elaborate description and line breaks to build the terror of a climactic scene. As modern screenwriting shows us, Aristotle's approach to diction is still alive and well. The final 2 elements of the Poetics are spectacle and song. Both spectacle and song hold a similar purpose in the eyes of Aristotle. They serve as embellishments, ways to heighten the emotion and drama already present in a text. Spectacle refers to the visual aesthetics of a story, like costume or special effects, and song refers to a story's musical accompaniment. Aristotle cautioned against an over-reliance on spectacle and song. He writes, the spectacle has, indeed, an emotional attraction of its own, but, of all the parts, it is the least artistic. According to the philosopher, these 2 elements should be secondary to the primary elements of plot, character, and thought. Aristotle argued that a good plot on its own should have an emotional effect on the audience.
Hey, Baba.
If they were simply told the narrative, they should already be gripped. In this context, spectacle and song serve as the cherry on top. According to Aristotle, producing emotional responses by the mere spectacle is a less artistic method and dependent on extraneous aids. For filmmakers, this doesn't mean that a movie can't have breathtaking spectacles. With Everything Everywhere All at Once, the Daniels pack eye-popping visuals and effects into nearly every scene. But the emotional impact of the story comes from the mother-daughter relationship, which doesn't depend on spectacle.
I don't want to hurt anymore, and for some reason, when I'm with you, it just hurts the both of us.
No matter what, I still want to be here with you.
Song, too, can play an enormous role in a film without overpowering its plot. Jean-Luc Godard's Contempt depicts the ennui and alienation brought on by modernity. This forlorn feeling is conveyed subtly through the script and performances.
Je me suis acheté un truc ce matin. Tu vas me dire ce que t'en penses.
But these emotions are heightened exponentially by the repeating melancholic score by Georges Delerue. The music highlights the destructive cycle the characters are caught in. Aristotle's Poetics is a seminal text for any storyteller. If you can master the elements of plot, character, thought, diction, spectacle, and song, you are well on your way to creating a great story.
You've got to ask yourself one question. Do I feel lucky? Well, do you, punk?
Speaking of creating a story, start writing your next screenplay with Studio Binder's screenwriting software. Until next time, keep reading the classics.